So, I think a lot of us kind of went into this episode expecting it to make or break the season, seeing as this is the first true test of what the action scenes will look like. And right off the bat, I think the action isn't bad. There's some stilted and stiff scenes, some weird proportions, but there's a lot of fluid movements and good sequences. Some impacts were solid as well. And in general, the fight was not bad. The main fight, Royal Ripper and Buggod vs. Goro. And the weird proportions aren't really that visible in motion, so I think that's mostly fine. I also do think the pacing of the fight got a little messed up at one point when Royal Ripper is attacking Goro, and they repeat the same shot multiple times, and it sort of makes you wonder, where's Bugod, the other monster? Where did he just disappear for this whole segment? Did he go grab some coffee? I'm exaggerating for comedic effect a bit, but I think you get the point. They also, for whatever reason, cut some shots from the trailer, and I honestly don't know why at all. Like, for example, Goro redirecting Royal Ripper's blades into Bugod. What's that all about? Why is that not in the episode? You have perfectly good animation, already ready to go. Why didn't you use it? I'm just a little bit confused on that. But overall, the action was mostly fluid, and there was definitely good stuff here. I am not going to diss it. It's very good for what the season has been so far. The other action set piece this episode was Hellfire and Gale sparring. And some shots do look fluid and good, but some feel really awkward and stiff. It's kind of hit or miss for me. The speed especially was not really sold, which makes me a little worried for Flashy Flash versus them, but I do hope that they will spend a lot more time on making that important fight better looking than this simple sparring match was. However, I will say the speed of these characters is their main defining trait, so I would like to see more of that. Plus, the dialogue was very weirdly placed over this fight, I'll say. The art direction continued to be excellent this episode. I love the lighting, I love a lot of the art from a lot of the still shots. That aspect has been consistently good throughout the season so far. The backgrounds also look excellent usually, and in general the vibe and tone of the world is captured pretty well. I like the dramatic changed color shots they often utilize. Most of the cadre shots from the trailers look good, Orochi and Homeless Emperor especially. However, I do have an issue with the still shots still. Specifically the exposition on the limiter when it shows shots of the heroes and monsters. They linger so long with no movement whatsoever, and for the first time this season it truly felt like a straight up PowerPoint to me in that moment because of how long we linger on those images. They took all the dialogue from those panels in the manga and then put it all over these shots in the anime without making any additions to the visuals, and it really kills the pacing for me. And the art for them, for whatever reason, seems significantly worse at a couple characters. Could have added more detail on some of these characters because they linger so long in these shots. For clarification, animation will never look as detailed as manga. The animators have to draw thousands of frames per episode usually, compared to manga where you can take much more time for each illustration. But come on, you're showing some pivotal monsters from the past in a still shot and linger on it for so long and they just... Some of them are kind of ugly, I'm not gonna lie. I would have much rather had some of the other shots look uglier so that these ones can hit harder, if you get what I mean. Not all of them, but Marugori in particular looks really off. The best looking still shot from this bunch is the House of Illusion one, which I think is funny since Dr. Genus is the one narrating. Feels like he himself dedicated more resources to representing his faction on this one. The S-Class shot does look good with the cosmic background, but it's the one they linger on the longest, and it just kills the pace so much. The music also feels a bit misplaced, maybe for the first time this season. You're exploring this pivotal concept for the series, you're showing these nostalgic monsters from the past. Something a little more lively or grand would have been good. Not saying you need to put battle rock music over it or anything like that, but for example, the soundtrack titled Gone from Season 1 is the one that I would have gone with personally. Yes, I have these memorized by name, I've been editing with these for years. Maybe that one is a bit too dramatic, but you get the point. Something to put more weight on the sequence instead of this chill, I wanna be stronger OST. There's also this moment where they're playing a version of Saitama's sad theme and it's just a scene that's not really sad at all, so I don't know why they would choose that. For this limiter section, they also had moving shots in the trailer for some of these scenes like Saitama panting, so why did they only use a PNG for the actual episode? I'm kind of confused on that as well. I'm harping on this limiter section because it's the one that bothered me the most, but overall the rest of the episode the art direction is good. Again, I want to specify the art style has been great throughout the season so far. I do appreciate that in some of the talking scenes there's a bit more movement than in the past, like Genus and Zombie Man sitting down, more expressive shots of Zombie Man shouting, Armored Gorilla serving drinks, Saitama actually moves and walks and moves his head, various characters throughout the episode turn their heads while talking. It's better than the talking scenes we've had so far this season, and there's definitely a noticeable improvement on that front. Although I will say, it is sad that I have to bring up the animation of Saitama walking into a room as a compliment for an anime. Yeah, like, I do get it's a pretty low bar. And another thing that really bothered me is, again, the cuts feel very abrupt. There's no pauses, no time to breathe or for words to settle. It's back to that super fast episode 1 cutting. For example, this moment when Garo spits his tooth and smiles. That moment goes hard in the manga, but here they don't let it breathe at all. They cut away very quickly. Moving on to the positive side of the Force for a second, Royal Ripper in particular has some of the best scenes in terms of art direction and the voice acting. I really like his voice. It kind of sounded off to me in the first episode, but now he sounds perfect to me. However, some performances felt really off, like Dr. Genus for example. He's sweating and shaking while delivering some of his lines due to the kind of impact that Saitama left on him, but the voice delivery just sounds super calm, like he's speaking to a classroom or something. And it just does not match the tone of his body movements at all. Saitama's voice also kind of feels the same this season. In Season 1 he showed a lot of expression in his voice, not just boredom. But the last episode, for example, he's having a crisis about leaving his wallet and sweating profusely, and then his words are said in the calmest manner possible for some reason. It really feels off compared to what he used to be, and this episode had a couple moments like that as well. On a random note, Dr. Kuseno looks great this episode. They really saved him from Season 2. I don't want to be overly negative or overly positive. I don't think this season is above critique, certainly not, as this episode has probably showcased. I did harp on it a lot more than I did in my episode 1 review. But it is not the 2 out of 10 that some people say it is in my eyes. The action this episode was decent, some portions were even good I would say. Overall, is this what One Punch Man deserves? No, definitely not, all of us know that. But I do think it is important to highlight the positives when they do come, and it is also important to know that I am sure the animators and everybody else involved are doing their best and breaking their backs with whatever horrible conditions they're dealing with over there in Japan. But I will say, in general, I've kind of been conditioned to expect far too little from this franchise. I do recognize that. One Punch Man as a whole has kind of been starving for years, even in the manga, but that's another video. Right now, I think the manga is good, but we had some events that really killed a lot of the momentum, and the chapters usually are extremely short whenever they come usually. It just doesn't feel as though One Punch Man is its creator's main priority right now, neither the manga nor the anime. I do really wish we had a perfect Season 3, but that's obviously not going to happen, so I do want to critique it when it's fair, but I also do want to highlight the positives when I think that they are warranted. I don't think this episode was a bad one. I do need to catch up on the webcomic though. I hear it's the medium that's doing by far the best at this moment story-wise in terms of general One Punch Man. You know, the anime, the manga, and the webcomic. I do know the webcomic is doing good right now, so I do need to catch up on that. Also, I have been reading Versus recently, a manga that is written by One, the creator of One Punch Man, and I've been enjoying it a lot, so if you miss some of the old One Punch Man vibe, I do recommend it. It's a really good time. But with nothing else to say, I wish you a great rest of the day. Goodbye.